quickly go through. Let me close my door first. Participants, because all participants may not be well versed with NLP. And see, NLP is defined as the application of computational methods to the model and extract the information from human languages. That's the whole idea of NLP is. How do you develop those computational models? And developing of those computational models, uh, your machine learning could be very useful, and therefore you can extract information from the human languages. Now, why these human languages is important is we'll go for the talk about the written form, text form. We'll not talk on spoken and gestural form in this lecture. So the textual language is important, which will be a part of this lecture. Now, when you deal with the text form, then you call it text analytics. If you deal with speech, then you call it speech analysis. Then if you deal with sign languages, probably you can call it sign language analytics. So our focus is on text analytics. Now, one of the important factor to remember is, look at, there are around 7,000 human languages currently in existence. But the important point is only 10 languages represent the 46% of the world population. So that way, if you look at these 10 languages are very important. Which are those 10 languages? And further, you have to note also that if you open an English dictionary, which keeps on growing also, but currently, if you look at, it is supposed to have 1,70,000 words only in its recorded. Though it seems that how many words will be there, but 1,70,000. But most important is only 10,000 words are commonly used in day to day. Why I am making these statements, you will understand gradually. Only 10,000 words are the commonly used in day to day. That you have to think now. So that means, so how do you communicate only with 10,000 words? That makes your NLP a complex task when you deal with the machines. Now, this is a chart I have taken from internet. What it says is that if you look at Chinese, is the most used language because the population is very high. India, we have multiple languages, and second spoken language or second language is Spanish, which is used by 460 million people. And if you look, Hindi comes at fourth, that is 341. English comes at third. And for surprisingly, Bengali is also there. I think 4th, 5th, 6th place. And 10th place is the Punjabi. That is Western Punjabi called Lehna. That is at the 10th place. So if you look at three Indian languages, Hindi, Bangla, and Punjabi are important languages in that bracket of 10 languages which 46% of the world population speaks. And now, why this is important is with two reasons. Now look at this. Human communication has evolved to being highly efficient by what it says, allowing the reuse of shorter words more and more. The shorter words are used more and more. Each, how many times you use is in the English text? How many times you use these prepositions, articles? Now, and other shorter words also. But if a word is repeated multiple times and reused, then the question is, its meaning is resolved through the context in which that word is occurring. Because if it occurs again and again, you cannot take its meaning simply from its literal meaning. A different context, it may have a different meaning. Now, आप कहते हैं the moment you say do means to, and do means also to give. A different, that means the context will resolve its meaning where you are using it. That's what. Now, one of the important factors that why the shorter words are reused and again is because it reduces the computational burden, also frees the brain for multiple activities. All right, and then And the human languages are inherently ambiguous. There's a lot of ambiguity in the language which you speak, and that makes its processing very difficult by the computers. Humans can understand those ambiguities from the context, but not for computer systems. And we even do not talk about resolving sarcasm and irony, metaphors and humor. We don't talk about that. We talk of simple and complex sentences which are straightway set. Only even if you take those sentences, it is difficult to resolve. Now, so you have ambiguities and sensing the word sense. If you look at the very good example of Hindi is given all time is that राम ने मोहन को काम पर जोता and राम ने बैलों को खेत पर जोता. If you look at this meaning of this jotna, when you use it with the bulls, or then it has a meaning of plowing. But when you say Mohan ko kaam par jota, means put to the work. So the sense of the same is changing with the context. This makes ambiguity. And the grammatical structure and the sentence structure also changes. If you look at the grammatical structures, different structures may appear. So that is also for the same sentence, you have more than one grammatical structure. And similarly, the sentence structure, when you join two sentences, they can be joined differently at different times. So a lot of ambiguities. Therefore, you need methods to resolve those ambiguities. This is what from natural language processing comes. So the issues, we have a different issue if you leave the right side, because right side is with the speech, and left side the processes we have maintained that deals with the text. So in morphology, you have lexical analysis, you have syntax, semantics, discourse, and pragmatics. Quickly explain, because all these processes has to be taken care of. Quickly, I said morphology deals with the shape and internal structure of a word, how a word is formed. If you say a word simple boy, by adding it s, you make it boys. A girl, if you add s, it becomes plural girls. So Hindi में तो बहुत सारे हो जाते हैं, English में only singular and plural. In Hindi, if you say ladki, then it becomes ladkiyan, ladkiyon, all multiple. And then you have lexical phase where you have a sentence, you divide into tokens and the words. Token may be taken as a word. Segmentation of text into meaningful units like words. Right? Like this sentence, segmentation of text into meaningful units like words. If you divide into lexical, that means you have to separate segment is one token, of is another, text is third token, into is fourth, and so on. That you have to do for processing. Then you have syntax, where the rules and principles are applied to the words to make phrases and sentences. Every language has a grammar. You said English is SBO, subject, verb, and object. Right? Hindi is subject, object, and then verb. So, and there are other grammatical categories as well, which I'm. So there is a syntax rules according to which the language has to be written. Even in the speaking, if you do not follow those grammar, I can understand what you are saying, but computer will not be. Then you have a semantics, the context in which the meaning is appearing. The meaning of a word may not be same as the meaning which read in the dictionary. Its meaning may also differ at times with the context. So what meaning a sentence is providing, it is not always you add the meaning of a word in the sentence, then that will give you the meaning of the sentence. No, right? Because sometimes the meaning of a sentence may be different than what the meaning of each word. That's all. So there are techniques required for this, and you have a discourse. The moment I say discourse, you have a big text where one discussion is going on. A discussion will not complete in one sentence. It may be multiple sentences. Then we call it a discourse. And then that is conversation and relationship. That means a sentence in a discourse is connected with the next sentence and that next sentence and next sentence. And then only you will be able to draw or conclude or inference the complete meaning of that paragraph or that discourse or that conversation. If you are able to link those sentences, like I say, you go with a story, then ultimately he said this, he said this. What is this he? All these have to be resolved. Then we say discourse analysis. Then finally comes the pragmatics, where the external characteristics to convey the content. See, simple sentence, even if you resolve from the context, at what you call, sometimes you may not be able to make out what the intention of a speaker is. किसी बात को कैसे कहा गया है, that will not be simply inferred from the sentence itself. And with tone and tenor has been used also makes clear the intention of a speaker. आपने कोई बात गुस्से से कही, उसी बात को आप अगर आराम से कहेंगे तो उनका अलग मीनिंग हो जाता है, right? If I say go, if I softly I say go, that means requesting to go. And if I say okay, go, I said go, that intention is just you to leave this place, I'm not liking it. The moment I say go, and I say okay, go, that means okay, you are already going, I'm saying okay, I'm agreeing that you can go now. So it's a polite way of, my intention in one case is that I don't like your entry, other case I said yes, I like it, but you are leaving, therefore I agree with you. So the intent of the speaker is not clear from there. So that is also equally important. That is what the pragmatics is. And many things we resolve from the context. Now, this I leave. And this is all process what we do. And this is how we form the words. I'm not going in detail because my focus is more on machine learning techniques to be applied for this. That I have already said, you make works from work or worked from work and workers from worker. I'm not going to detail this, but tokenization I have talked about. Stop words are very important as far as NLP is concerned. A small set of tokens occur very often, like say the, of, as, a, is. All these small tokens occur multiple times in a text on a discourse, but they do not really convey much of the meaning. So most of the machine learning techniques one deal with, you remove these stop words and then process it. So the stop word removal is one of the way to deal with the text of the languages and then apply machine learning techniques. So that's one, we call them stop word. And one of the important factors now look at whole William Shakespeare's complete work, novels, and he has written novels, he has written novel, and then he has written stories and drama. And you would take whole of his work, and somebody has done this, he said that there are only 884,000 words or tokens are used in the complete works of William Shakespeare. And why this is important, I said that the shorter words are repeated, and out of that, what is being handed tokens in the morning, only handed tokens in a prime minister's office or in a vice chancellor office, there may be somebody who reads all newspapers, and what is primarily said in the newspaper today, they will collect in and then make a topic that this is the topic of the day where the most of the newspapers have covered it. So topic model, can it be automatically done by machines? All newspapers come online, can have a model which compares and brings in the topic and tells you. It can be one kind of a summary, or you can say text summarization. It's also a kind of topic. So this is another area. This will provide us ability to organize, understand, summarize large collection of text. Right? If I give you so many books, then you can say which topic these books talk about. Right? When I say categorization, this book is about this book is about this. Then I say, if I give you almost similar kind of books, then you say, okay, 10 novels, and then novel, you can say, oh, what kind of novels these are. If I give you all novels of Premchand, probably you say, okay, it talks more on the human reality of that point of time, and it takes every segment of the society. This is the kind of a topic it has discussed, you can talk about. And can you do that summarization of the text? So it is form of text mining, where you mine and then summarize, and a recurring pattern of words in discourse. Now, important point is there is a discourse. What I said, discourse analysis. One sentence in a text will be connected to other sentence. So it will look at some kind of discourse analysis. Then only you'll be able to do that. Right, and therefore, rather than some people are calling it text summarization. Given a text, can you summarize it? Right. I'll just skip this 2 slides, may not be used. Go on. This I don't. The CNN based framework, again, From the experiment, people have said the CNN-based platform frameworks have resulted better, coherent, effective, and interpretable topic model. That is what the experimentally people have said. And document context is captured also by CNN in this case. If you have discourse, CNN captures is better way. The resulting document vectors are combined with topic vectors. For every document, you have some vectors can be combined with topic vectors, and this gives effective document topic representation. This is what the research says. And if you have multiple document, if you make their summary as a vector and then combine them, and it gives whole topic vector effectively. In RNN, the contextual LSTM is used for topic prediction, and it has been done by the researchers. And then some other that concatenated LSTM, whether you take different topics and combine them together, and this is how topic modeling has been done. And one of the emerging area is machine translation. Machine translation is the process in NLP where text from one language is translated to another target language. And it involves morphology, syntax, semantic, discourse, everything. All phases which I talked about in NLP, this includes. Now, there have been various approaches used in past. And the important part in machine learning is when you translate one text into another. One of the important part is the faithfulness, whether the meaning conveyed in the source text is actually translated exactly into the target language or not. Whether you are preserving the meaning or not. Faithfulness, that is called. If you are doing with the speech, then the fluency is important. Now, earlier this machine learning, this machine translation has been done through what you call direct word translation, dictionary based. एक word का दूसरे language का word equivalent ढूंढ लो translation को, this is called transliteration. Was not very successful. Then you translate phrases from one language to phrases of other language. In this English करना, if you take one phrase here and then translate another phrase, and that's called phrase based translation. They've been very popular in 50s, 60s, 70s. And then transfer rules, you would convert, and then if you have a parse tree for one language, में आपने हिंदी में कुछ कहा, उसका parse tree बनाया, then what will be the equivalent parse tree in English? Transfer rules you can use for converting this. And they did not be very successful machine translation tools. Then came the statistical translation, where a lot of data is collected. As a rules-based translation will not work much. Word-based translation will not work much. So the better, they call it statistical translation, where you take a lot of data, and based on the data, you do translation. And now, maybe in probability, you compute the probability. That means if I have a language E and I have a language H, if I'm translating, now, what is the probability that an English sentence, given an English sentence, E, its equivalent Hindi sentence H will be H? What is its probability? That means for a sentence, if I'm translating, a sentence may have multiple possible translations. Then which translation I will consider correct translation? That means which has a more probability. How do I compute that probability? That means I should have already some translated document. That's what the statistical translation will say. From that already existing parallel documents, I'll compute the frequencies of translation of a sentence to another equivalent sentence. And based on that, I'll try to find, if I've given a new sentence, then I'll try to compute the probability of an expected translation from a given sentence in one language to another sentence. This is what the probability based or statistical translation has been doing. But with the machine learning coming, this has improved the translation quality. And right, and CNN also again can play a big role to encode both semantic similarities and context in translation pairs. And thus gives more effective translation if I use CNN, because it can learn more from. Now for statistical translation, we have a lot of text available now, but in low resourceful language like Hindi, other Indian language, we don't have much data available. We have a lot of data for Russian, a lot of data for English, maybe for Spanish, other languages where people are working, but we don't have much text available, which called corpora for Hindi. CNN with attention based gives fast performance. That's what is now being tried. And one of the important is, whether you have heard or not, BERT, bidirectional encoder